Hello everyone, Nick here from Debean Equal Justice, a sub-brand of Debean Tech Solutions. Remember, if you'd like my services, please do check out the description below. First things first, I do owe you an apology. This update has taken much longer than I expected. I've been gathering documents, checking dates, and making sure I can separate what records established from what remains disputed. This is not a trial by thumbnail, it's a documented public update about my experience with the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, also known as AFCA for short. For legal and factual clarity, AFCA has not been found liable for any disability discrimination or victimisation yet. The Australian Human Rights Commission's acceptance of my complaint, 2026, 09158, is not a finding that my allegations are currently proven. This video presents my account, the documents available to me, and the matters I have asked the Commission to examine. AFCA is invited to respond in the comments below, provide the complete evidentiary record, and correct any factual matter it says is inaccurate. And by it I meant the Australian Human Rights Commission. It says is inaccurate. My complaint against the Australian Financial Complaints Authority has been accepted for processing by the Australian Human Rights Commission. I have since amended it to include AFCA's conduct as of today, the 18th of August in the year of our Lord 2026. That's the 18th calendar day in the year of our Lord 2026. The complaint alleges disability discrimination and victimisation in the way AFCA provided or restricted access to its services to me. This is not an appeal against the outcome of every financial complaint I've made. It concerns accessibility, reasonable adjustments, procedural fairness, and AFCA's decision to impose restrictions across all of my open complaints. AFCA says that during a telephone call on 3 August 2026, I used profanity about an employee and referred to seeking an arrest of another. That's pretty standard. That's what happens when you commit the offence of fraud, Mr. Middlemas. If you conspire to facilitate fraud by PayPal Australia, you are committing an offence in violation of the Australian Criminal Code, and I will get my future colleagues from the Victoria Police to come in and arrest you. That's standard. That's me complying with the law. That's all I'm doing. I acknowledge that profanity was inappropriate, and yes, I regret using it, accept responsibility, and agree that it could have been communicated more professionally. I did get pretty angry. My autism and cognitive overload and communication history provide relevant context, but they are not an excuse for the language. Again, I do agree that it was inappropriate, and I could have communicated a little bit better. However, I do not accept that I threatened violence, physical harm, or personal retaliation. My poorly expressed reference to arrest concerned reporting suspected conduct to lawful authorities first, and then leaving any legislation or enforcement decision entirely to them. AFCA relied on 2 quoted excerpts, but it has not provided to me with a complete call recording, complete transcript, contemporaneous call notes, or the other primary material used to characterize my statements as threats to staff safety. Funny. You pose a threat to me. That does not prove the evidence does not exist. It means I'm not permitted to examine the complete context or test whether AFCA's characterization is accurate or proportionate yet. I have sent them an email requesting access to said records. On the 18th of August, AFCA issued a representative-only direction. Although its letter identified 1 complaint, the direction extended across all of my open complaints. AFCA directed me to 1. Appoint another authorised representative by 1 September 2026. Cease communicating directly with AFCA staff. For 2. 3. Conduct every open complaint through that representative. And 4. Face possible cessation of those complaints or exclusion from AFCA's service if requirements were not met. Before imposing a blanket direction, AFCA did not provide the complete call evidence, giving me an opportunity to respond, identify every affected complaint, or explain why less restrictive measures would be inadequate. It also did not explain how it considered my request for disability my requested disability adjustments, including written communication, clear questions, reasonable responses, a named contact person, and no telephone contact unless agreed beforehand. That is why I allege the response was discriminatory, victimizing, and disproportionate. Those are the allegations for the Commission and potentially a federal court to determine. And don't worry, AFCA, I've already started a pre-litigation notice. It's currently saved as a template and will be edited and continue later should the Commission deny my complaint, as always. Well, not really as always, pardon me. They are actually looking at the complaint against you. They are not findings that I am declaring for myself. I have now 1. Amended my HRC complaint, 2. Notified AFCA of that amendment, 3. Requested preservation of the call recording, transcripts, metadata notes, and internal decision records, 4. Requested protection of every open complaint and deadline, 5. Requested disclosure of the evidence relied upon, and 6. Proposed a less restrictive written contact arrangement. I intend to participate in the AHRC process in good faith. Because conciliation is confidential, I will not broadcast negotiations, private discussions, or settlement communications via livestream on YouTube or anything like that. If the complaint is ultimately terminated without resolution, I reserve my right to consider proceedings under Section 46 Papa Omega of the Australian Human Rights Commission Act 1986, Commonwealth. Subject to all statutory requirements and deadlines, of course. I'm seeking accountability, preservation of my complaints, removal or reconsideration of the blanket restriction, reasonable communication adjustments, appropriate training, and compensation if unlawful conduct is established. Which it has already been established by me, because I knew they would commit the offence sooner or later. I'll also continue advocating for stronger oversight and structural reform of financial dispute resolution in Australia. Any argument for replacing or substantially reforming AFCA should be supported by evidence, proper consultation, and workable safeguards, not merely anger or slogans. I plan on taking the usual steps to require AFCA to have a reform. My proposed renaming for it would be the Australian Financial Complaints Commission. Or the AFCC. I'm not asking for permission to mistreat staff, that's just obviously stupid. AFCA employees deserve safety and respect, which I always provide. I'm asking whether AFCA can protect its staff without denying a disabled complainant like myself, and subsequently anybody else like me, meaningful and proportionate access to an external dispute resolution service. AFCA can begin answering that question by producing the complete call record and explaining how it considered procedural fairness, reasonable adjustments, and less restrictive alternatives. If further evidence shows that I've misstated a material fact, I will correct that public record account, as accountability must work in both directions. I'd like to thank you for your patience while I prepared this update. I know it's only a personal vlog of mine for the Devine Tech Solutions channel, which will feature consumer complaints and Devine Equal Justice stuff. But Devine Equal Justice does not stop fighting. But we fight with evidence, due process, and respect. I will provide another public update when there is a development I can lawfully and appropriately discuss, within the confines of Australian applicable law. With that said, thanks very much for watching. Although I can't show any evidence on screen, I haven't shown any evidence on screen, I'll not show evidence on screen, because confidentiality and privacy. I will ensure that the Australian Financial Complaints Authority is held accountable for its decision to terminate my access to its service. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Nick from Devine Tech Solutions, or Devine Equal Justice, in this case, and I'll see you guys next time.